From attacking icons to lashing out at the NBA itself, Jayson Tatum has had some pretty controversial moments in his career. Let's look at some of the most controversial ones, starting with the time when he blasted the NBA. Okay, so it's no doubt that Tatum has been one of the biggest names in the NBA ever since he started playing for the Boston Celtics. He has led the team and has established a pretty good name, but despite that, he failed to make it into the All-NBA team of the 2020 to 2022 season. Now, obviously, this has had a lot of effects on not only him as a player, but also on him as a person. Obviously, he wasn't going to be happy about losing over $32 million in bonuses from his current contract. So, how did he process all of that? By blasting the NBA. He seemed to be really mad about how the players get into the said team, and how it all doesn't make any sense. During an appearance at JJ Redick's The Old Man and the 3 podcast, the player spilled all the beans about how he felt about the whole situation, and boy were there some hot takes. And no, he wasn't shouting and yelling or crying about losing all that he lost, although you'd expect anyone to be visibly upset at something like this. Tatum was surprisingly at ease with the whole situation.
You weren't thinking, you were just hooping, basically?
Yeah, like I don't think I was. I mean, I'm sure, yes, in the playoffs.
In multiple games, I think specifically game 3.
Game 3.
Yeah, in Philly.
So now that you guys know all the backstory and context, let me tell you what he said. Many people seem to agree with everything that Tatum said, but most people just thought that he was just bummed out about not making it on the team. Which side are you on? Let me know down in the comment section. Talking about the situation on the podcast, he talked about how there's absolutely no criteria set for the voters on who they should vote for. I mean, he's not wrong about that, and if you ask me, I'd say that there should be a criterion set in place for this, but we don't make the rules now, do we? He continued talking about how the whole thing is just pointless, and the votes are always based upon personal beliefs and not the actual skill set of the players. Having an opinion-based voting system is good, but there should be at least some structure to it. Otherwise, just like Tatum said, people will vote for players because I like this guy a little bit more. Although all that he said was technically right, it was still pretty controversial because of the timing of it all, you know, right after he didn't make it on the team. So most people just looked at it as a player bummed out about not making it on a team and trash-talking the league. He even talked about how this whole thing has affected him in the past, talking about how the whole voting system got to him a while ago in his career. He brought up an instance that you guys might be familiar with. He talked about how a year ago when he was in the playoffs, he remembered how everyone was talking about voting and whose name they were going to put on their All-NBA ballot. The player said that he had over $30 million on the line, so he was especially interested in this topic. But what really weirded him out was when he heard someone talk about how they weren't going to put someone on their All-NBA ballot, all because they didn't really like the player's shot selection. And I was baffled, he added. At the end of his very controversial statement about the whole situation, he said that he couldn't really blame that person for the way he voted because that was his choice after all. So the thing he does have a problem with is how these votes are conducted overall. And honestly, I agree. Although I agree with Tatum on this one, it's probably gonna be hard to back him up on this next one. The time he lashed out at Kendrick Perkins. Okay, I know a lot of you Celtic fans are going to back Tatum on this one, saying that he just clapped back at the critics who were trying to cause drama in the C's locker room. But I don't know, you guys. Maybe he could have done it in a way that felt less controversial, you know? Okay, so for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, let me give you guys some context. You see, former NBA icon Kendrick Perkins, who has also played for the Celtics, took to Twitter to talk about the players of the team and decided to praise one player while criticizing the other. And you might have guessed it, it was Tatum that was criticized. Talking about one of the games on his Twitter account, the player praised Jaylen Brown and talked about Tatum's poor shooting. Now obviously, criticism from more experienced players in the sports world is nothing new and shouldn't be taken negatively. All they want for you is to succeed, right? Well, that's not how Tatum saw the situation, and it didn't take him long to respond to the tweet. Apparently, he thought that Perkins was just using Tatum to bring up Brown, but that's not how any of us saw it. Several fans of the sport thought that his response to the tweet looked very insecure, but I'd leave that judgment to you guys.
When I get a cut, I think I'm top 5. Yo, last time I was on the mic, I had a fresh cut, but now I got curls. So what? Same rules apply.
For those of you who missed out, here's what Tatum said. Tatum took to his Twitter and talked about how we should normalize uplifting one man without bringing down another. I really don't think that was the point of the tweet, but okay, Tatum. If you want to look at it that way, that's on you. He said that Perkins could have just talked about JB doing good in the game without the criticism that was thrown his way. But what's all that bad about a really good player telling you that you need to improve something in your game, right? The whole thing just made Tatum look really bad, and he got a lot of criticism for the way he reacted to the icon's tweet. Wasn't he bummed out about getting criticism in the first place too? Oh well, that's what you get when you don't think your actions through.
Strong side. Oh, I got bounce. Deuce. I miss my man, yo. This is song of the summer.
Several people agreed with the player as well, but I'm not sure, you guys. The tweet just didn't sit right with me. What about you guys? Now, this wasn't the only time he was stuck in a controversy with an iconic player, because let me tell you guys about this next one, the time when he blamed LeBron James. I mean, facing the first ejection of your career must be hard, but that doesn't mean you start making things up that honestly don't even really make sense. Like, how in the world is LeBron James responsible for whatever happened to you in the game, right? You see, Tatum was unable to buy a call against the New York Knicks in a game, and he felt like there were 2 instances where the other team players went unpenalized. Both of these times, he lost his cool. After the game, in a conference, he let it all out about how he felt like the referees unjustly swallowed their whistles, and that's when he blamed LeBron James for the whole thing. I know what you're thinking, and I'm just as confused as you guys are right now. He tweeted with a clip of him getting the whistle and said that this is what he got for fouling LeBron earlier. I don't think any of this is connected, but you do you, Tatum.
Stay up. There we go. There we go, Black. Woo! Hey! And 1!
And that was all about some of the most controversial moments from Jayson Tatum's career.
And 2 doors down, I remember our neighbor named Donna. She fed us many a nights. I would walk out and I would go over there and I would knock on the door and she'd give us the chicken pot pie.
Whoa! Hey, that's tough! Let's go!